In modern-day America and across the world, the civil rights of gay and transgendered people is constantly challenged. Recently, in Kansas, the governor issued an executive order taking away the protection of rights from gay and transgendered state employees. In Arkansas, they passed a bill that aggressively bans all cities in the state from protecting LGBT residents from discrimination. And in Texas, the first same-sex married couple has had their marriage blocked by prejudiced state attorney general. The Supreme Court has been split on the decisions regarding same-sex marriages, though the rulings thus far have benefited marriage equality. Of course, tomorrow may be another story. And in one city, there's a gay-straight alliance that receives active support from faculty and straight students alike, while in another city, the formation of a gay-straight alliance is blocked by outraged parents and a student body. In a small town, a gay youth writes an angry letter edged with rejection and minutes later shoots himself. The harassment and isolation had been too much. The need for awareness and acceptance is right before our eyes. The LGBT movement has made considerable progress since the 1980s when I was a teenager. The 80s was a decade of the AIDS scare, viewed as a gay problem, and catching the gay frequented the airways. I came out when I was 13 years old to parents who were not religious, only to step back in the closet for another decade and a half. The fear of one's son being gay was too much for my family. Culture fostered my parents' rejection as they had no support, no role models, and no one to tell them it was okay to have a gay son. After all, no one was out in the public media, and the topic was avoided in most forums, except, of course, in the forms of ridicule and jokes. We have come a long way since this time, but discrimination still pervades in many states and exists in pockets in others. Violence still occurs against gay and transgender people, and teenagers still languish as they are made homeless by rejecting families. Now is a time to foster full acceptance and awareness. Welcome to Queer Sense. Queer Sense is authored by myself, a psychologist who has researched this topic over 7 years. I used my doctoral studies to focus on many facets of LGBT studies, and my dissertation was devoted to the topic. Writing and producing a book costs money. The obvious fees are editing, production, and of course, marketing. The monetary funds gathered from this campaign will be used for these aspects and will allow me to devote more time to this project. This campaign is for anyone of any sexual or gender orientation, whether you are heterosexual, an individual transitioning from male to female, someone questioning his sexual orientation, or a proudly identified gay person. This campaign is for educators, parents, teenagers, mental health professionals, employees who want to teach and learn diversity in the workplace, or anyone curious about queer theory. Queer Sense crowdfunding is about giving money to something you believe in. The money you give is tied to rewards and you are getting something back. And yet, Queer Sense is not just a book. It's an idea on how we can foster acceptance through awareness. Erik Erikson offered his theory of the human lifespan with the stages of the human development. Kohlberg not only opened our eyes to the notion of moral development, but taught us that we can make the same conclusion, but for different moral reasons. They gave us theories. In the same vein, Queer Sense is a theory that helps us understand how we form the diverse range and complex attitudes towards lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgendered people. The prevalent queer theories of today either focus exclusively on sexual or gender identity development. The theories don't consider how we come to form feelings towards queer people or consider how these feelings shaped one's sexual and gender identity. Queer Sense provides us with a conceptual roadmap that explains how we form the feelings we have towards people identifying along the queer spectrum. In essence, Queer Sense allows people to discover themselves in an insightful, reflective manner and opens pathways to new, meaningful relationships. Thank you for your passion, concern, and interest in supporting Queer Sense. Together, we can make a difference.